Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast, everybody. We're diving into a company today making some serious waves in the AI and edge computing space.
Oh, yeah.
Guerilla Technology Group, ticker symbol GRRR. And you might want to pay close attention to this one.
Okay.
Because GRRR has been on a wild ride recently.
Has it?
Some really exciting developments driving some pretty major price swings.
Wow, interesting.
So to kick things off, what's been happening?
Well, we've seen GRRR surge, over 200%
200%.
in just the past 3 months,
Wow.
followed by a sharp drop to close out the year. This kind of volatility can make investors nervous,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but it's not entirely unexpected for a company like GRRR.
Okay, so let's break it down a little more.
Yeah.
On December 31st, 2024, GRRR closed at $18.17,
Okay.
almost 20% down from the day before.
Huh.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
The stock's range that day was from $15.74 all the way up to $24.91.
Huge swing.
That's a massive swing in just one day. What's going on behind those numbers?
Well, one key factor is GRRR's market capitalization, which is currently around $200 million.
Okay.
Market cap, just for those maybe who aren't familiar, is basically the total value of all of a company's shares. It gives you a sense of the company's overall size.
Right.
Because GRR's market cap is relatively small, it's more susceptible to these big price swings.
So even small news can have a big impact on the stock.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of news, GRRR landed 2 major contracts in Taiwan on December 31st.
Oh, wow.
One is with a major telecom provider
Okay.
to implement an AI-enhanced cloud network service, and the other is for an AI-powered platform to assist law enforcement with investigations. These contracts sound like a pretty big deal.
They are a big deal. These wins suggest that GRRR is gaining some real traction in the market.
Okay.
For investors, these contracts, it's not just about the immediate revenue, right? They demonstrate growing demand for GRR's AI solutions.
Yeah.
And it could lead to even bigger partnerships down the road.
And to add to the excitement, GRRR has issued some pretty optimistic earnings guidance for 2025. They're projecting revenues between $90 million and $100 million.
Wow.
Which would be a significant jump from their trailing 12 months revenue of $78.94 million. Just for those who may not be familiar,
Yeah.
trailing 12 months revenue just means the total revenue generated over the past year. This projected growth has a lot of people talking.
Absolutely. And all eyes will be on their earnings announcement on January 3rd, 2025. This will be a key moment for GRRR to prove they can deliver on these ambitious projections.
Right.
Investors will be watching closely to see if the actual numbers line up with their guidance.
But it's not all smooth sailing, right?
Well,
Some analysts are giving GRRR an outperform rating,
yeah.
while others are more cautious, setting an average target price of $14.50, which is lower than its current trading price.
Yeah.
It seems like there's some disagreement about GRRR's future.
That's right. Analyst opinions are important.
Right.
But it's crucial for investors to understand why they disagree.
Okay.
Some analysts might be more focused on short-term challenges, while others may be more optimistic about the company's long-term prospects.
So how can our listeners make sense of these conflicting opinions? What should they be focusing on?
It's essential to look beyond the headlines and delve into the underlying fundamentals of the company. We need to understand GRR's competitive advantages in the AI landscape and assess their long-term growth potential. That means examining their technology, their management team, their financials, and their overall strategy.
All right, so let's dig into those fundamentals. What can you tell us about GRR's technology and how it stacks up against the competition? What makes them stand out in the crowded AI space?
That's a great question, and one that's key to understanding GRR's potential. They've developed some very innovative AI solutions, particularly in the areas of video analytics and edge computing.
Let's unpack that a bit. What exactly is edge computing?
Yeah.
And why is it so important in the AI world?
So edge computing is all about processing data closer to where it's generated, rather than sending it to a centralized data center.
Okay.
This is crucial for AI applications that require real-time insights, like self-driving cars or or security systems.
Okay, so GRRRs focus on edge computing, gives them an edge in those fast-growing AI applications. Can you give us some specific examples of how their technology is being used?
Absolutely. One example is their work in smart cities. They've developed AI-powered video analytics platforms that can be used to monitor traffic flow, detect accidents, and even identify suspicious activity.
Wow.
This type of technology is in high demand as cities around the world look for ways to become more efficient and secure.
And that ties in with the law enforcement contract they just landed in Taiwan, right? Their AI is being used to analyze video footage and assist with investigations. It seems like they're really carving out a niche in the security and surveillance sector.
Exactly. And that's a sector with enormous growth potential,
Right.
driven by increasing concerns about safety and security worldwide. GRR's technology is well positioned to capitalize on this trend.
But of course, no company operates in a vacuum.
Yeah.
What about the competition? Who are GRRR's main rivals in the AI space, and how do they measure up?
Well, GRRR faces competition from both, established tech giants like Google and Amazon,
Sure.
as well as smaller, more specialized AI companies. The AI landscape is incredibly dynamic and competitive,
Yeah.
with new players emerging all the time.
So what are some of GRR's key strengths that might give them an advantage in this competitive landscape? What sets them apart from the giants like Google and Amazon?
One key strength is their focus on edge computing.
Yeah.
While the big tech companies are also investing heavily in edge computing,
Right.
GRRR has a head start in this area and has developed a strong portfolio of edge-focused AI solutions.
So their specialization in edge computing could be a real differentiator for them. What else should investors be considering when evaluating GRR's competitive position?
Their strong partnerships are another important factor. GRRR has been successful in forging strategic alliances with key players in various industries, including telecom providers, system integrators, and government agencies.
Those partnerships are crucial for any company trying to establish themselves in a new market. So it seems like GRR has a lot going for it. Innovative technology, a focus on high growth markets, and strong partnerships. But what about the risks? What are some of the potential challenges or roadblocks that investors should be aware of?
One key risk is their dependence on a relatively small number of large contracts. While winning those big contracts is a positive sign, it also means that losing a major customer could have a significant impact on their revenue.
That makes sense. Their success is tied to those key relationships. What else?
Another risk is the rapid pace of technological change in the AI industry. GRR needs to constantly innovate and stay ahead of the curve to remain competitive.
So it's a classic high risk, high reward situation.
Mm.
Investors need to weigh the potential for significant growth against the inherent risks of investing in a rapidly evolving technology sector.
That's a great way to put it. Investing in companies like GRRR requires a thorough understanding of both the opportunities and the challenges they face.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do here on Investing Talk Podcast.
Yeah.
Equip our listeners with the information they need to make informed investment decisions. Now let's move on to another crucial aspect of GRRR's story, their management team. Can you tell us a bit about the people behind the company and their track record?
Yeah, GRRR is led by a team of experienced executives with deep expertise in AI and technology. Their CEO, Dr. Spencer Koh, has a PhD in computer science
Okay.
and has been involved in the AI industry for over 2 decades. He has a strong track record of innovation and has assembled a team of talented engineers and business leaders.
So they've got a solid leadership team in place. But beyond the CEO, what about the broader management team? Do they have the experience and vision to navigate the challenges of a rapidly growing AI company?
They do. The management team has a diverse range of skills and experience,
Okay.
including expertise in software development, product management, sales and marketing, and finance. This well-rounded team is essential for GRRR as they look to scale their operations and expand their market reach.
So it sounds like they've got the right people in place to execute their strategy.
Yeah.
What about their financials? How healthy is the company from a financial perspective? What should investors be looking at when assessing GRRR's financial strength?
That's another crucial aspect to consider. We need to examine their revenue growth, profitability, cash flow, and debt levels.
Let's start with revenue growth. We already touched on their projected revenue for 2025, which is quite optimistic.
Yeah.
But what about their historical revenue growth? How consistent has it been?
GRRR has demonstrated impressive revenue growth in recent years. Their revenue has more than doubled in the past 3 years,
Wow.
driven by strong demand for their AI solutions.
That's a very positive sign. But revenue growth alone doesn't tell the whole story.
Mhm.
What about their profitability? Are they actually making money?
GRRR is currently not profitable.
Okay.
Like many young, high-growth companies in the technology sector,
Yeah.
they are investing heavily in research and development, sales and marketing, and infrastructure to fuel their expansion.
So they're prioritizing growth over immediate profitability. That's a common strategy for tech companies,
Yeah.
but it's important for investors to understand that it could be some time before they see a return on their investment. What about their cash flow? Do they have enough cash on hand to fund their operations and continue their growth trajectory?
That's a critical question. GRRR has been actively raising capital through a combination of debt and equity financing.
Oh.
They recently completed a successful public offering,
Okay.
which has provided them with additional capital to invest in their growth.
So they're not profitable yet, but they have access to capital to fund their operations.
Yeah.
What about their debt levels? Are they taking on a lot of debt to fuel their growth? And if so, is it manageable?
They do have some debt,
Right.
but their debt to equity ratio is relatively low,
Okay.
indicating that their debt levels are manageable. They've been strategic in their use of debt financing and haven't over-leveraged themselves.
That's good to hear. It seems like they're managing their finances responsibly while still investing aggressively in their growth. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. We've talked about GRR's technology, their management team, and their financials. But what about their overall strategy? Where do they see themselves fitting into the broader AI landscape, and what are their long-term goals?
GRR strategy is focused on becoming a leading provider of edge AI solutions. They see a huge opportunity to leverage their expertise in edge computing to address the growing demand for real-time AI applications in various industries,
Okay.
including smart cities, security and surveillance, industrial automation, and healthcare.
So they're aiming to be a key player in the edge AI space. That's a bold ambition. What are some of the key initiatives they're pursuing to achieve this goal?
They're investing heavily in research and development to expand their portfolio of edge AI solutions and stay ahead of the technological curve. They're also focused on building strategic partnerships with key players in various industries to expand their market reach and access new customers.
So they're taking a multi-pronged approach, innovating their technology, expanding their market reach, and forging strategic alliances. It sounds like a comprehensive strategy, but what are some of the potential challenges they might face in executing this strategy?
One challenge is the intense competition in the AI industry. GRRR needs to differentiate themselves from the competition and convince customers that their solutions are superior.
So it's not enough to have good technology. They need to effectively communicate their value proposition and build a strong brand in the market. What else?
Another challenge is attracting and retaining top talent in the highly competitive AI field. GRRR needs to build a world-class team of engineers, data scientists, and business professionals to stay ahead of the game.
So it's a battle for talent as much as it is a battle for market share.
Exactly. The success of any AI company hinges on its ability to attract and retain the best minds in the field.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. GRRR's technology, their management team, their financials, and their overall strategy. It's clear that they're a company with a lot of potential operating in a rapidly growing and dynamic industry. But as with any investment, there are risks to consider. Investors need to carefully weigh the potential rewards against the potential downsides before making a decision.
I completely agree. Thorough research and due diligence are essential before investing in any company, especially one in a fast-moving field like AI.
We've certainly given our listeners a lot to think about. What are some key takeaways you would like to leave them with? What are the most important things to remember about GRRR and its potential in the AI landscape?
I think the key takeaways are, First, GRRR is a company with innovative technology and a strong focus on high growth markets.
Yeah.
They're well positioned to capitalize on the growing demand for edge AI solutions. Second, their management team is experienced and capable with a clear vision for the company's future. And third, while they're not profitable yet, their financials are sound and they have access to capital to fund their growth.
So it sounds like GRRR is a company worth keeping an eye on,
Yeah.
but as always, investors need to do their own research and make their own informed decisions. We're just here to provide them with the information and insights they need to make those decisions.
Exactly. Now, before we were talking about GRRR's position in the AI landscape, and
Right.
it's worth noting that, while GRRR has a lot of potential,
Mm-hmm.
they are not without their challenges.
Right. We've talked about the competitive landscape and the need for constant innovation.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other potential roadblocks that GRR might face?
One key risk is their dependence on a relatively small number of large contracts.
Right.
As we discussed, landing those major contracts is a positive sign.
Sure.
But it also means that losing even one major customer could have a significant impact on their revenue.
That's a good point. Their success is tied to maintaining and growing those key relationships. What else should investors be aware of?
Another challenge is navigating the complex regulatory landscape surrounding AI.
Okay.
AI technology is evolving rapidly,
Right.
and governments around the world are still developing regulations and ethical guidelines for its use.
Mhm.
GRRR needs to be, proactive in ensuring that its technology complies with these evolving regulations and addresses potential ethical concerns.
So it's not just about developing cutting edge technology.
Yeah.
It's also about being responsible and anticipating potential regulatory hurdles.
Yeah.
That adds another layer of complexity to their growth strategy.
Exactly. And it's something that investors need to keep in mind when evaluating GRRR.
Right.
The regulatory landscape for AI is still evolving.
Yeah.
And it could have a significant impact on the company's future prospects.
Now we've talked a lot about GRRR's potential.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to our listeners who are trying to make sense of all this information.
Right.
What does this all mean for someone who might be considering investing in GRRR? What are the key takeaways they should keep in mind?
I think the most important thing for investors to remember is that GRRR is a growth stock
Okay.
operating in a high risk, high reward sector. They have the potential for significant upside,
Mm-hmm.
but there are also inherent risks involved.
So it's not a stock for the faint of heart. Investors need to be comfortable with a certain level of volatility and uncertainty.
Absolutely. And they need to do their own research,
Right.
understand the company's fundamentals,
Right.
and carefully weigh the potential risks and rewards before making any investment decisions.
And as we always emphasize here on Investing Talk podcast, it's crucial to diversify your portfolio and not put all your eggs in one basket.
I couldn't agree more. Diversification is key to managing risk and building a resilient investment portfolio.
So to wrap things up, GRRR is a company with a lot of potential,
Yeah.
but it's important to approach this investment with a clear understanding of both the opportunities and the challenges.
That's a great summary. And remember, the AI landscape is constantly evolving. Investors need to stay informed about industry trends and GRRR's progress to make the most informed decisions.
Absolutely. We'll continue to follow GRRR's journey and keep our listeners updated on any major developments. Now, before we wrap up, we always like to leave our listeners with something to ponder. What's one question that investors should be asking themselves when considering GRRR?
I think a key question to ask is, how sustainable is GRRR's competitive advantage in the long term? The AI industry is incredibly dynamic with new players and new technologies emerging all the time. Investors need to assess whether GRRR can continue to innovate and stay ahead of the curve to maintain its position in the market.
That's an excellent question to consider. It's not enough to just look at their current performance.
Right.
Investors need to think about the long game and assess whether GRRR has what it takes to thrive in the ever-evolving world of AI. We'd love to hear our listeners' thoughts on this as well. We've really dug deep today into Guerilla Technology Group, ticker symbol GRRR. We've talked about their potential, their challenges, and their place in this, rapidly changing world of AI.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating discussion. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
Absolutely. And as we always say here on Investing Talk Podcast, knowledge is power. The more you understand about a company, the better equipped you are to make informed investment decisions.
Couldn't agree more. It's essential for investors to do their own research, look beyond the headlines, and really understand the fundamentals of a company before making any decisions.
Exactly. And when it comes to a company like Guerilla Technology Group operating in a fast-moving field like AI, staying informed is more important than ever.
That's right. The AI landscape is constantly evolving, and investors need to stay up to date on the latest developments, trends, and potential risks.
So to all our listeners out there, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking questions. The world of investing is full of exciting opportunities, and we're here to help you navigate them.
And remember, investing is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs along the way, but with careful research and a long-term perspective, you can position yourself for success.
Well said. And on that note, we'd like to thank you all for joining us on Investing Talk Podcast today.
It's been a pleasure sharing our insights with you.
And don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast so you don't miss any of our future episodes. We've got a lot more exciting deep dives planned covering a wide range of companies and industries.
We'd also love for you to share this episode with your friends and colleagues who might be interested in learning more about Guerilla Technology Group and the world of AI investing.
And if you have any thoughts or questions about today's discussion, be sure to leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time, happy investing.